Salvete. Another important thing we need to revise from last year is Latin nouns. So just like verbs, Latin nouns change their endings, but this will tell us some slightly different things. So firstly, they will change depending on their case, which means what the noun is doing in the sentence or its relationship with the verb. And they also change depending on their number, or how many people, places, or things the noun refers to. So case, as I said, is the role of the noun of the sentence, or what the noun's relationship is to the verb. And we have met 3 cases last year. So the first one is the nominative. This is used for the subject of the sentence, and that means the noun which is doing the verb. We have also met the accusative, which is used for the direct object, or the noun which is directly undergoing the action of the verb. And finally, we met the dative, which is the indirect object. This is something that is less directly involved with the action of the verb, and it's translated into English using the word to or for. So we'll just look at an example here. Caecilius donum metellae dedit. So here we've got caecilius, we've got donum, which means gift, we've got metellae, who we know as metella, and dedit means gave. Now, in English, it's important to pay attention to word order. In Latin, it's the endings of those nouns which will tell us what they're doing. So caecilius, that us is nominative, so we know that he is doing the verb. Caecilius gave. On donum is an accusative ending, so we know that the gift is the thing being given. Caecilius gave a gift. Finally, that ae on the end of metella's name is a dative ending. She is the indirect object, and so we'll either translate this as to or for. So in this case, Caecilius gave a gift to Metella. In English, if we switched around the word order, so for example saying Metella gave a gift to Caecilius, that changes the meaning of the sentence entirely. However, in Latin, because of the endings, if I switched around the words Caecilius and metellae, the sentence would still mean the same thing. So it's really important that you pay attention to the endings of those nouns. Another important word you need to remember is declensions. A declension is basically just a fancy word for a noun group, and so nouns come in a declension depending on their endings. They cannot change their declension. It's the group that they belong to, and while they'll change their case and their number, they're not going to change their declension. So now let's look at our table of endings. So we've separated it out into declension 1, 2, and 3. And each of these will have their own endings. So nominative singular, a, us, and various. Remember those are those ones like senex, mercator, and so on that don't really fall under a or us. Accusative singular always ends in an M to help you recognize it. Dative singular, so all of these means to or for someone. Nominative plural, so if you see these endings, you need to remember to translate it as with an S on the end in English. Accusative plural always ends in an S, and dative plural to or for the somethings. Make sure you know these endings off by heart and how to translate them so that you can translate them correctly. So just to recap our main points, noun endings tell us the role of the noun of a sentence as well as the number, whether it's singular or plural. So just like verbs, you need to make sure you pay really careful attention to your noun endings when you're translating so that your sentences will be correct.